big. I have no idea what I'm doing up here and why this is on me right now. I'm going to be honest. I live in the Red Cedar area, Cedar Falls, and I've heard a lot of things about data centers. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm chronically online to escape my children in my mind, and learning about these data centers popping up all across the country, and the detriment that they have to their communities that they're built in. And I remember I was driving through the industrial park towards my home, and I looked out into the field and I was like, shit, I think this is where they would build one. And within the next month, I'm not joking, is when all of this came out. And I knew immediately that I was going to do anything I could to not have it be built here. I moved out of the city of Menominee to be in a peaceful rural yard, with prairies and hills and trees and quiet. And these are anything but that. So I started the petition on a whim. I had no idea why I was doing it. I almost deleted it on the one on change.org. And people started signing it. And I was like, oh, I think I have to do something. And so within the next couple of days, that's when the group was made, and some other people reached out to me, and now here we are together, which I am in awe of how many people are here right now. And I think this is where it starts. I know there's a coalition out of Tucson, Arizona, that was able to stop an Amazon data center being built. They won. I think there's, I forget the city in Kansas recently, they just stopped one being built in their backyard. And I think, we have a really good chance at stopping one in ours if we, put our heads together and figure out what steps we need to take next. I did print out flyers. So I have about 400 right now on this table over here. Take a stack if you're willing to walk around your neighborhoods and hand them out, get people to sign. I do have packets as well that I made for handwritten signatures. And I guess I'm wondering if maybe having handwritten signatures in the wards of Menominee specifically would be more helpful. I don't know. If anybody else knows, let me know. So I have those. Jody made some packets with the detriments that they can cause. And that's where I'm at right now. So awkward. I feel awkward. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to come up and talk about, or kind of just have an open forum to get us started, get some focus going? Yes, question. Yeah, so the annexation went through in early August, I believe. The 4th, yeah. It was voted on the 4th, and then it was put in a public paper, I believe, on the 13th, which put it into law. And so the annexation and the rezoning of the land is official. That land does now belong to the city of Menominee, and I believe it's off of Ward 11 is where it would be technically. So that has gone through. From what I'm understanding, the next things that could happen would be either putting pressure on ordinances to get the investors in the development to pull back and leave, which would be great, or someone, I believe, Dylan, you mentioned putting pressure on having data centers taken out of that rezoning, or maybe it was some.
DMAR said, yeah.
Okay, yes, taking
data centers out of the allowable things that would be acceptable in that industrial now with new and green zone.
Yeah. That's another good idea. And then today I saw the Eagle. We are in Eagle Nest. Eagles live here, and the noise could disrupt them. So I don't know if anybody has the motivation to kind of look into the facts about that. That would be really helpful. Yeah. Any other?
I mean, as far as the protected wildlife, I know for example woodpeckers, you can't build up their preserved and protected. They can't be killed under nuisance bird or anything like that. Eagles fall under the same thing. Obviously, we're fighting the government, and they would do whatever the fuck they wanted to anyway. So it's kind of he said, she said. But if we could gain enough.
Some data centers. They're not exactly beautiful. I think they look like a prison. They've got barbed wire fence at the top. They've got mounds. They're just big buildings. They really don't have any ambiance whatsoever. I'd much rather see a cornfield or a bean field. I grew up out in that area, Russ Prairie. I'm a farm kid. So,
well, that doesn't, it's about what the city
I get it.
without involving people.
Right.
We are the people of the city. You are beholden to us. We are not supposed to be beholden to you.
I get it.
And that's the thing about government that we all are having a problem with. So I understand you come around
No,
here, but
I get it.
I'd like to understand what legally allows anybody in the city to sign an NDA so that you are prevented from speaking to us.
So to answer your
Right.
question real quick, and yours by the way, according to a lot of stuff that NDAs are associated with in these types of things, they are very typical, and it's not really something you can get around. What we could have done, and of course everything's flawed to the gills, and nothing's done systematically from the bottom up, but had it been, we could have negotiated. We don't want an NDA as a part of this. If they want to say no, say la vie. Go to the next town. We don't give a shit. Not a problem. Two, to answer your question, I'm sorry to get to it. Anybody can sue anybody. You don't even have to be right half the time. I'm sure you guys have seen tabloids, all the stupid stuff that happens in all sorts of parts of the countries. If pressure needs to be put on and you find grounds to, I'm never going to stop anybody from exercising their own rights. So.
I lived in my house for 43 years in Cedar Falls. I'm not a resident of Menominee. So I literally, from a legal perspective, don't have any say in what's going on from the city council's perspective, and my vote will never impact their lives. But that said, the value of my property being just a mile away is significantly impacted, and I have no recourse other than maybe to sue.
Because you wouldn't have bought that property had you known, and
Right.
now you're defeated. And
43
your
years
lifestyle, and
ago.
nobody's going to compensate you.
That's right.
I know we got a question over here. Sorry,
Well-
we're getting tired.
Well, and I, two things. Number one is the water. I'm going to try to cover 4 questions at once.
Yep.
I really came here to have a beer. However, I understand, and I don't like the idea of a data center either. So just to make that clear, here's the deal with the water. It's in a closed loop system. It's much less usage than it used to be. However, it's still a lot of water. Okay, absolutely. Second, getting to you. As far as I know, there's a movement within the townships right now, and I know that the townships are upset with the city as well. And I would contact your town chair because
Who happens to be one of the land sales? Procknell.
All right, yes, again, Randy. Now what?
town chair. What town are you in?
Red Cedar.
Oh, town Red Cedar.
Where this
no,
will
he's
go
not
in.
the chair. He's not the chair though, is he?
He was.
He's not though.
Okay.
Bob, I would call Bob Cook.
Okay.
Call Bob Cook because he would be very helpful to you. You got your hand up for a long time, and go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, I come from the state of Minnesota, but I grew up here. Family's farm has been here for over 100 years, and we're obviously going to be affected if this data center gets built. But my friend that I work with from the state of Minnesota has been fighting off a data center in Farmington for years, and she has a data center coalition. This whole closed loop thing doesn't work. The town of Farmington is larger than Menominee at 26,000 people, and this data center will use more water than the entire town of Farmington would suck up their entire aquifer. And they have tried and tried and tried to stop this. They also have NDA signed by their entire city council as well. It is
I'll get right there. A couple more things that Wisconsin did is they took the personal property tax off. So anything inside that building is not taxed. And they give a deal so that if you're paying X amount of dollars on your house and your property, they're getting such a deal that they're paying like a way less. I don't know what the exact quotient is. Steve, do you know what that number is right off your hand? No. It's no sales tax either. So they're clipping. So Wisconsin's set up prime for these data centers.
I mean, I have a father-in-law that has a 15-acre hobby farm that he doesn't hardly use his water for, but he lives right next to a farm, and to reinforce your point and your point, anytime his neighbor turns on the irrigation for his field, they got fuck off for water pressure.
Oh.
So when we get that, I'm like, we haven't even begun to talk about if this does go through, what the compensations are going to be for the people most directly affected. And that's exactly, if they're going to get compensated, that's a direct shot to put, and it probably grounds for some uprising.
Well, no, and some of that could be handled through a development agreement, which the city hasn't even talked to them
Exactly.
about. So that's some weight that the city could carry. You know, if y'all come forward and say we want this, we want this, we want this. I mean, it's in the hands of the city council and a development agreement. Really, go ahead.
I've got 3 quick questions.
Yeah.
First, I want to mention that too. Like,
Talk loud.
okay, I can do that. That's gonna be.
Oh, sorry.
Let me. I just forgot what you had just said.
The water in the farm and the wells. Give me back.
I've got bad knees, so I'm gonna stay seated. Thank you. I'll talk loud. So I have 3 like kind of quick answer questions for you. These are practicalities. Because what I'm focused on, I want to focus on is the practicality of what steps we take that slow this down.
Right.
Slowing down is the first thing. They'll get. My feeling is that these people go into a bunch of towns, they start a bunch of these processes, and they throw spaghetti at the wall and see what's going to stick. Okay? So let's just not let our spaghetti stick. So is the annex yet official? Like, has it passed through?
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes, that is correct.
What was the date?
I don't know the date exactly.
Oh, that was when it passed the bill. When was it?
The vote was the 4th.
But it was like, but it was documented. I think 3 days after
3
that.
days after.
They put it in the paper.
14th is when it was in the paper, so that'd be the 14th maybe? Okay. I was just looking and I noticed that there is grounds for a township to sue, but only if it's not in the county or it's not contiguous. Is that land contiguous? Contiguous.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Let me try to give you a couple clues. Okay. And I don't want to get into a whole bunch of. I don't want to turn heated, and I don't want it to be against me. But here's how you can fix this.
Yeah.
Okay. Put signatures on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And get as many people as you can. And put your address, because if you put your address and your signature on the paper, it makes it binding. If you just sign a piece of paper, it doesn't give you that binding address with the signature. Work with your townships. They're already working on a petition against the city for doing this. Then once that comes together, then you bring that to the city council members. You gotta put pressure on the city council members. I don't have any control over my city council members. They have a vote in this and I don't. I'm here today to say, I'm sorry, but I had no control over this.
Right, but if
you wanna stop this-
if we switch 2 votes and it's still 6-5, you have the ability to veto. Correct?
Yes, but anything of this nature needs to be at 2/3 majority.
Right.
So that takes me out of the loop.
What's our time frame on this?
Well, I think
That's what I was gonna ask. What's the fastest they could push through to the whole data center being done?
okay. I'm not sure exactly because I'm not included in the loop on the NDA stuff. So I can take some guesses on this. I think it's 90 days
From here?
from when it was implemented, when the rezoning was. So, I'm sorry? From the 14th. I believe it's 90 days. Now, saying that, the city has not even gone into any negotiations with the development agreement. So, I mean, the development agreement could say, hey, if we're going to do this, you got to give $1 million to this group, and you got to give $1 million to this group, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. So, if you put some pressure on the council, I'm sorry to say that, but the truth of the matter is, they have the vote in this, okay? But you are the people. So your vote to those city council reps that you have is way powerful, but you got to get your point across. Yes, and you got your hand up. I'm sorry, over here.
Hi, yeah, can you all hear me? I'm trying to use teacher voice.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so I got 2 questions for you. The first is procedural. Can the county board help us on this?
In what way?
They could, but they don't know if they will. Now, if the townships all get together and get all of their members in the whole county to sign this thing, the county board has no choice but to weigh in. And yes, they are very powerful in this.
Okay, my second question has to do going back to water. So this is being voted on by city government. You all have a municipal water system. Outside, in most of Dunn County, sharing the same aquifer, we don't. We already have water quality problems that the county has already indicated through their water samples. We have high nitrate up in Cedar Falls. We have to pay for our own mitigation. If this goes through, you all will have help. If we look at what's happening, what happened in Central Sands area, we're all out on our own, and that $1 million is going to count for squat.
2 things on that. Number one is it would come from the city's wells, which are, I think, 400 feet deep or 300 feet deep. My local well at my other place is like 60 feet deep or 90 feet deep. I don't know how deep the irrigation systems are. I know they're pretty deep also. But city water and sewer is a little different nature than just sucking it out from like the groundwater that your well would be attached to. However, it is a lot of water use. It's, I think, the 5th largest, would be the 5th in the city. Walmart and Cardinal Glass and Sanitarius uses way a lot more water than what but it's still a lot of water. No matter how you look at it, it's a lot of water. Peter, you got your hand up.
So you hear a little bit about the water usage, the electrical usage. Nothing's concrete. How do we know? I mean, these are just numbers they're throwing out there. I mean, is there anything on paper?
Well, there is on paper. However, nothing's signed into law.
Nothing is
That
binding. Is this, they can say, hey, we're only going to use this much water. What happens if they use more?
yeah, we're in
Much
favor.
electricity. I mean, they're going to have to put a substation right across the street. I assume that's what the other plot
Huge
is.
substation. Huge
Huge
substation.
substation on the one side of B or right next to it there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I throw a couple thoughts out real quick?
Yeah.
No. Oh, sorry.
No, go, Peter. Wait, finish up, Peter.
Just a couple thoughts real quick. Everybody here has heard about, the data center that's over here, obviously. You go and you talk to people, I talk to people in the restaurant all the time. The majority of Menominee does not know this is happening. And this is what they want. They want, when's the last time you saw 3 meetings back to back 3 weeks and push something through in this town? Any town. The reason they're trying to keep this thing quiet is they're trying to get it to the point of no return, which they may already be really close to, without getting a lot of pushback. The way, in my opinion, to stop this is you've got to get people to know what is happening. You get them out there and you get as much friction as possible. Everybody in town has to know what this thing means. They have to know that none of the information we have from Balloonist, we don't even know the name of who is behind the Balloonist LLC. Does anybody? Does Atkinson? Does he know?
Well, Balloonist LLC is
Well, right, we know that we have.
but I mean, it's a shell company, and they work with they're a land acquisition company that will turn this over to whoever it is, Google or
Do we know
whoever it
who
is.
they are turning it over to? Does
I
anybody
do
at
not.
City Hall know?
Probably the ones that signed the NDA.
Okay, so just the 2, or the whole city council side?
No, it'll be just the 2.
Just Schofield and Atkinson?
Correct.
Okay. The other thing, they're trying to push this thing as through as possible. Just so everybody's aware, Atkinson and Schofield are very, very much for this. They're very much for this. They had a meeting a couple weeks ago with the head of the department, a lot of people in the city, including the new gal, the media public relations, media social media gal. And she said, hey, you're bringing up a lot of points that people in the community are having questions about. So why don't you put this on a piece of paper? Why don't we put this out So the city, no, they shut her down. Said, no way, this is not leaving this room, this stuff.
Yeah.
So either they know it's bullshit, or they just know it's bullshit. Because they're sitting there telling everybody all this stuff. If you believe it, why aren't you telling everybody else? They don't want their name on it because it's probably not true. Or they know that it's nothing that's binding the information that they're spreading. So my thoughts are you get as many people that know what is going on, you call your city council members, make them explain to you why they voted for this thing. I think it was Lee Schweb said, oh, he voted for this for, possibly, the annexation for possibly future, well, it says right on the annexation, it says right on the rezone, it says right on there, balloonists, it has the attorneys. By the way, when you're talking about having a lawsuit, these guys have been doing this for decades. These guys are the best in the business. These attorneys, the one attorney was like National Bar Association Attorney of the Year. You're talking about going against Facebook's attorneys. You think anyone at City Hall?
It's our people, not them, because they should be working on our behalf, not on behalf of.
Right. Well, my point is, these guys have been doing this for decades. They all know all the moves. The only way to slow this thing down, in my opinion, is you've got to get the city council members to vote against it. And if you look at how all these things go, there's going to be a funding. They're going to want to set up a TIF. They're going to want to get a TIF and recapture this money. So they're going to say, hey, you know what? Great, we'll set up a 25-year TIF. They recapture however much money for the first 10 years and then move out and the monopoly hold the bank. But they're not going to build this thing without the public money, without setting up the TID. You got to get the city council to say no on the TID, no public money. Everybody should be calling, emailing, everybody you know, everybody the community needs to know. Because you make it hard enough for these guys, they're going to move on to the next place. Now they're scaring the city council right now, saying we got to move fast because we might leave. Well, they've been working on this thing for almost 2 years. Blueness LLC, I think, was set up in January 2024. So they've been on this thing for a lot longer than they're telling you. The city council, my understanding is, people, these attorneys had individual meetings with each one of the city council members. Is that true?
Yeah, it's off the record. I was told that by Gary Atkins. Everything's
So
off
if
the
you're talking
record.
about these attorneys are making $500, $600, $800, $900 an hour, and they're sending them to bumfuck nowhere, Wisconsin, and you think that they're just going to also fold up and leave town? They got a lot invested in this thing.
Yeah,
Do they do it by
how ethical
petition?
is that anyway?
Or, I know that we have, and I have been, but how else do we do it? I mean, is it a petition, a paper petition?
Well, I
Randy
think
was saying,
you think you just need to contact your city council members. I just got a call from one. He's seeing this live streamed right now. He's not very happy with me. But I'm not here to trash. I'm not here to trash any of the council members. What I really am here is to say, if you don't like this, contact your city council members and have them help you reverse this if that's what's the best interest of Menominee. I'm in a tough situation here. You guys, I need the city council members to be on my side for lots of things that we do for Menominee, and this is one sticky situation that I'm not happy with them, and they're not going to be happy with me on. But we need to get through this as a community so that we can all stick together. That's the biggest thing. Yes.
I appreciate you being here. Most of the people affected immediately don't live in the city. So us can't contact our city council. We don't have a city council.
Right, there you go. I agree. Go ahead. I'm sorry?
Okay, so there's a thing that's coming out here right now that's really, really important for us to focus on. We're here because we are members of a community that have a common goal. Our goal is to stop this, and we already feel like we're wrong. But, as Randy said, the city council right now is the only people that have votes. What I'm doing here right at this moment is I'm calling for civility. Let us not attack personally Randy. Let us not attack personally the city council members. These are our neighbors, they're our family, they're our friends. and we have a disagreement possibly about what's going on. But if we start attacking them like we've seen online, I mean, we've already seen it online. People go filthy right away, and it's happened with this. This is not a partisan issue, and it is not something that we should be using to divide ourselves. The only way we are going to beat this is if we coalesce as a community and we don't beat up our elected representatives, because they are supposed to be representing us, and up to this point that really hasn't been an opportunity. I'm going to be talking to the council in my community about this, but let's be civil. Because no,
We
but
can't wait for another election, and I'm pretty sure Dylan Goss, if I'm not mistaken, you talked to Sydney, hold on, you
All right.
talked to Sydney, and Sydney was
Here-
not very receptive to the kind things he had to say.
Let me, I just want to, let's just take a chill in the room here for a second. When the city council, a lot of times, a lot of decisions that are made by the city council are good decisions. Not every decision that I've ever made or you've ever made has been a good decision. We all make mistakes. Now, if we want to fix these mistakes, we have to come together as a community and do the best we can. Because really, 90% of the time, I have a really great city council. This is one situation that I didn't have a say in, and the city council went a different direction than I thought they might have. But you got your hand up, ma'am, for a long time. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My dad just called, which I grew up in southeastern Wisconsin in the Milwaukee area, so water quality issues are not new. And so, but the question that I had, you gave me a wonderful answer, but you didn't quite answer my question.
I'm sorry.
So one, yes, we all dip our straws in our wells into the same bucket. But you meaning the city, have legal protections that we outside don't. And so that's one of the things that hasn't been part of this. Yes, everybody is going to lose, but the recourse is different for us in Cedar Falls, in Township of Menominee, Township of Dunn, Lucas, everyone that is pulling from the same aquifer. In addition for it to go down, what about pollution? What is going to be coming out of this process? Not only what might leak through that supposedly closed system, but also when things are being built. What if there's a problem with the foundation? What if we get a storm through? There's a lot of nasty stuff in server farms. And again, the city gets protected. The rest of us don't. And I have to agree with Kevin, we have to keep it civil and no personal attacks. But I'm going to disagree with you that we can still be angry.
Oh, I'm not saying don't be angry. I'm saying don't do personal attacks.
I agree with you on that.
So it's
Lucy.
the next step I understand is to create a TIF district. What's the process for that?
TIF district would be,
If you don't get a TIF district, it's gonna end the project, probably, is that correct?
Um,
And the TIF money never comes back. Recent study, University of Madison, TIF is totally not a great idea. Nothing's ever come out of it except for the company that gets it and pays less tax.
well, here's the deal on a TIF district. TIF is tax increment finance, and what it is once a TIF district is implemented, the district that it's in, all those tax dollars comes directly to the city to be able to help them or help whoever it is with infrastructure. Instead of giving a certain amount of money to the schools or the county or the tech school and the city all sharing those tax dollars, any value that's established on that in that TIF district comes directly back to the city. For instance, if they
For the city to pay for stuff for them.
correct, but here's
It doesn't benefit the city.
It does.
It's a way to pay for them to have things done.
well, here's how it is. A TIF district, for instance, if we went to give a TIF incentives to like Cardinal Glass or other industries out there for infrastructure, it could be anything outside of the building. It could be a sewer system, it could be a lateral, it could be a curb and gutter, it could be exits off of double B that might facilitate better traffic patterns and things like that. Those are all incorporated into a TIF district. And all those monies, and usually what they are is, you would have a housing development, for instance, would say, okay, in the next 5 years, we're going to give you X dollars to help you with your curb and gutter and so forth. But after that 5 years, that TID money comes back to the city, it's all paid off. Then all the extra money on top of that comes directly to the city for the next 20 years.
What about
It's
the
usually about
township?
25. Township does not get any of that money.
What do you mean extra money, money that wasn't spent?
No, the money that they would pay in taxes.
Okay.
So, for instance, instead of sharing that tax revenue with the school district, the tech college, and the city, it all comes to the city to help offset any of the initial infrastructure that they might need. Now, they have not requested any initial money, but their pockets are very, very deep. So,
And actually, if you read currently on the results of the TIF, it's not completely what you're explaining, because the money is not coming back and they're not recycling back to communities and things like it was meant to be. It's pretty much a wash, and it doesn't really help the citizens out, even though they may get infrastructure.
usually what it is, Lucy, is it's within the first 5-year period, they would, all their taxes pay off probably the investment that the city made into that TID to help them, or to help with sewer system or a lift station or any infrastructure that the city would have to put in order to have them here. So after that initial phase, 5 years or 7 years or whatever it is, after that, all those tax revenues do come to the city. So a TID is very important to the city for business growth. Any business growth, if it's Bill's Distributing or if it's Cardinal Glass or whoever.
How much money do you have in the TIF account now then? You must have.
Well, it would be all, once the TIF is paid off and after it closes, then all the development, all the extra money that TID develops, all goes to the city, goes to the county, goes to the schools and to the tech college. And you've got your hand up over there.
So I'm just wondering, there's obviously this TIF district that's supposedly going to be a positive for the community. What else are they trying to put forth as like a positive thing about this data center?
Sure. Positive
Obviously, we all
things.
feel differently about it.
Yeah.
How do we know when they talk about there's going to be X amount of jobs? A, that it's going to happen, and B, how many of them are going to be remote? And then C, how many of them are the guy mowing the lawn?
Yeah.
Right.
Security.
There's not a lot of jobs offered on a data center. And the few jobs,
And they're all gonna get held on by AI. That lawnmower is gonna be a Roomba in about 2 weeks.
that's one of the drawbacks that I see on a data center is the jobs per acre. Because when we have a Ellsworth cheese factory on, 7, 8, 10 acres, there's 100 jobs. And so 10 jobs per acre in a data center is offering probably 0.025 type jobs.
That's
So
what TIF districts are before.
no,
They should be for an area that's going to actually grow industry, grow productive
Oh.
industry with a workforce.
right.
You're creating an infrastructure for multiple industries or
Right.
businesses.
Right. I'm disappointed in the amount of jobs per acre. I'm disappointed that they're going to build on prime real estate that's been farmed forever. I'm disappointed that there's a huge water use. I'm disappointed that there's huge electric use. I'm disappointed that the look that it's going to give us, and we could have had something else there. I mean, you could put that land into a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a lot of other businesses that are going to contribute a lot more than a data center will to the area. Give me 1 second. The problem we have is we all use these darn things. I use it, you use it, everybody uses it. And the darn things take a lot of data in the next few years. These people are, right, well, and then there's that is, where do these go? I'd rather put them out in the deserts where there's cactus.
There's no water.
Someplace, there's no water probably, yeah. Desert, let's go to the desert where there's no water, I'm sorry.
This would be the manager side of me. We all have the same opinion. We all feel that this is a really shitty idea, right? We all agree.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what Peter was saying. We have to get a force and block the shit out of them. So what are our actionable next steps? Who can do what? I want to get some next steps in place versus us just bitching about the same things. We all agree.
And after that, decide we need names and addresses on amount of papers, does that invalidate the petition that we've already had running for 700 to 1,000 names? Because I'm pretty sure that only included zip code, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know the legalities exactly on that. I just know that when you put an address to your name, it validates it. But I'm sure that if it's a name and it's going to be validated. Well, I would, excuse me. You know, I love Menominee. I'm a homegrown boy. Okay, and this is a choice that was made that I'm not 100% on board with. I can see why some people say, hey, this could work for Menominee. And I can see where all of you, it's not working for Menominee. It's not going to work for Menominee. I can see both sides of this. Okay, the mayor says one thing, Randy Knack says sometimes the other. We argue with each other. Okay, the one thing about this is if you really want to stop this thing, you get together with your township and you get every frickin' signature you can from everybody in the whole Dunn County, including the city of Menominee and everybody else, and that's how you stop it. Because they have to listen to you. You know, but there's ways to do this. There's ways to do this. Now, I checked on having a referendum to do this. No, I checked on it. The problem with having a referendum on this is because the landowners came to the city and they were bound over by law. If the city was going to go out there and say, we're putting a data center out here, we're taking your land, now we could go to referendum, you could vote it in or out. However, if you get enough signatures, and I know that I have okay, you may not think so, but I have an amazing city council. Really, we've been working on the lake project, we worked on this project, we did so many good things out in Menominee. And I know that city council is not going to be happy with me being here today. But I figured we should have somebody here to answer some of your questions as much as possible. And I feel bad that I'm the fall guy, that I couldn't lead my council to making better decisions. But we aren't all on the same page all the time. There are times, I vetoed my council years ago twice. And they hadn't been vetoed in years. This was unvetoable because it was a 2/3 vote. So it was 8 votes. So there was no veto, there was no tie, there was nothing I could do except for saying, oh man. So we're here today, you're here today, and I just came for a beer. But you're here today to try to figure out a remedy. The remedy is this. You contact your town chairs. You already contacted the mayor. You start that petition. You make that happen, you put it forward. I know there's been some talk about some landowners coming to the city, which I'm going to look at what their needs might be, because we're going to try to put those needs into a development agreement, because the development agreement has to be put together in order for this whole thing to go through. It's still stoppable, but you got to gear up for it, okay? You got to talk. You can't beat the city council members up. You got to reason with them and say, you know, give me 5 good reasons this is good for our city. Give me 3, give me 2, give me 1. You know, what is it that makes you vote for this? You know, ask them that question. Because you know, they're getting information from over here. And maybe you haven't, your voice hasn't been heard yet. But you got to make your voice loud enough to what everybody hears it. I'm hearing it right now. Okay, I know you're not happy with this. And I will be your liaison to the city council as much as I can be.
Actually, this is what what you said is what I was thinking about today. I was like, okay, what are practicalities?
What's the next step?
And I just listed some things, some ideas that I think we could consider that I'd like to share at some point.
Right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna drink a beer. And I don't need to sit up here. And I'm just here because I found out about this meeting, and you all have questions. And if I can answer any of your questions, I'm here. And my phone number is available. If you want to talk to me, please call me. Okay?
Thanks, Randy.
I would have preferred to sit down there, but I know we're going to get better, not as much amp feedback if I sit up here. So, my name is Blaine Halverson. In thinking about this, this is one thing, what Kevin said is something I've been thinking about, is that this is one of those issues that isn't a partisan issue, right? So the issues the city council reps aren't coming at it from a Democrat point of view or a Republican point of view, right? So it's really important that we don't create another kind of a rift that we're all on opposite sides of, because that just complicates things, okay? So here's some things I thought of, and I'm just gonna kind of read them, but I'm pretty entertaining when I read, at least. Not too boring, I don't think. So one thing I think is really important is we need to redefine who the interested parties are in this, and this has been being talked about. We need to make clear that the interested parties are the people who are going to live within the glow of the lights, who share the water table, who breathe air impacted by industry here, who own property whose value can be impacted, and that council members or city reps must not be allowed to speak in a way that seems to denigrate the validity of someone who lives in this community. Because, you don't have to live in the city of Menominee to tell everybody I'm from Menominee. You can live in Colfax and you can see the glow of lights. Some of these data centers have glows for over 100 miles. People who send their kids to school here, belong to a house of worship here, who work here, whose parents or children or grandchildren live here, are all interested parties. And I just think we need to correct, if a city council member, like in that one thing Lee Schwebs wrote, that one thing Lee Schwebs wrote where it was basically, well, I see that signature was from somewhere else. We can't abide that. We need to make sure they understand. Number 2, identify questions that need to be answered, and then create a plan for us to collect answers, and then find a way to put disinterested expert parties in front of the city council to speak about those issues. One is the Eagles, water usage. What's going to happen? Who's going to get power lines built through their yards or their land? All of the things. What about when Xcel Energy can't keep up the power and they have to start burning more fossil fuels to make sure to keep up? Because that's happening in a lot of data centers. Get a group of people to sit down with the council people, and the purpose should be for our group to exhibit some care, courtesy, and respect. Curiosity and respect, We don't want to be viewed as an opposition. It's okay, there are people on the council who have different opinions, but we won't win over anyone if we start out hostile or antagonistic. So asking them questions like, what are your current thoughts about the project? Here's one thing we need to keep in mind. As much as it seems like the people who voted yes are all in for the data project, they might not be. They might just have been all in for the annexation when there was an opportunity for it. That's possible. What is your understanding of the net property tax benefit to the city? Okay? I think a lot of these questions will show that there's probably some ignorance on the city council about some of this stuff. What disinterested experts have you heard from or sought out? Like who other than their lawyer have you heard this information from? What kind of timeline would you like to see in order to feel like you've done your due diligence for the city? What legal support is the council willing to seek out in order to make sure we aren't out-lawyered? I know Ken Schofield, I like Ken Schofield. Ken Schofield is he's not an opponent for these people. He's just not. Like these, what you've got here is, have you ever had someone knock on your door to sell you a vacuum cleaner? That's an old thing, doesn't happen much anymore, right? Some stranger walks in your door, you've never seen him before, they don't live in your town, they come in, and they're in front of you, and they dump dirt on your rug, and they vacuum it up, and they put a lot of pressure on you, don't want to leave. What do? Do you say no? Yeah, you say no. But that's what's happening here. We've got a really good vacuum cleaner salesman, and a bunch of people here are just ready to go, okay, if he's in a hurry, we got to be in a hurry. But we don't have to be in a hurry.
And just one.
Yeah.
How about Dave Schofield, Public Works Director?
Dave Schofield.
Dave Schofield.
Oh, that's what I thought it was the lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we need attorneys who can help us. Who can advise the city. How does the council intend to make sure residents are adequately informed and have ample opportunities to address their concerns directly? Outside of city council meetings, since there's not enough space in the city council for the number of questions there are. What are non-negotiables for you to vote to approve this project? And what are the red lines that would automatically turn you into a no vote? We got to listen to these people and see where they're at. And I think people who are listened to and heard are then more open-minded about and it will hopefully kind of help identify to them where their holes in their knowledge are. Then I said, we talked about, you mentioned this, and I put this online too, about the idea of a recall effort. Now what I'm not interested in is just, let's start recalling people immediately. Because, you know, you're talking about recalling some people who have done beneficial things for the city in other ways. Right. But I am saying that I would support recall if we talk to people about this, we show this interest and curiosity about their opinion and get feedback from them. And if we see people who are just not committed to fully transparent and are not receptive to a deliberate, slow process, that those people are worth recalling. Because that's not about the right or wrong of the issue, that's about their unwillingness then to be open-minded and to listen and to slow down for us. So this involves getting paperwork, and one correction, doesn't involve, it's based on 25% of the number of votes that were cast for governor in the last election in that ward. Okay, so it's not 25% of all the registered voters, it's 25% of the people who voted for governor in each ward. Okay, the problem is the city, we've done some research here, someone called after I suggested it, and a lot of the wards vote in the same place, like 1 and 2 vote in the same place, and 3 and 4 vote in the same place, and the city clerk's office, or county clerk's office, could not identify and break out how many were in Ward 1 and how many were in Ward 2. So that's a tricky outlet. Yes, Randy.
I just want to say that a recall is not going to fix our current situation. Way far out.
That's fine. That's fine, but it's, yeah.
It shouldn't be our focus right now.
No, well, no. And then just an idea of trying to create an event or two in the next month or so, some kind of event that will draw people. Not saying, hey, come to this event up against the data center, all right? And I'm in communications with someone who's a hometown boy who could draw a crowd.
Can we do anything at the farmers markets?
No.
Can't put up a booth or something like that at Wilson's Park?
I'm just talking about some kind of a fun event that people come to that then someone from the group can stand up and say, hey, if you haven't heard, this is what's happening, there's more information over there, if you want to sign this. Not putting pressure on people to have a point of view, but just a way to get people in front of the message.
I would think that if you could contact your town chairs and get them to put out a posting to all the residents of Dunn County and pull this off in a big way, have it at the rec park down there, and have, I mean, put the city on notice to say, hey, we want to talk to you, city, about this. We want the city council there, we want the mayor there, we want the administrator there, we want all the people there from the county. We want everybody there. We want all the people from all 28 or 29 townships in the county. We want a big gathering, and if you pull that off, then this could get shut down, okay? That's what it's gonna take, because right now, the data center is still moving forward. So if you really wanna plant your feet in the sand, it's not gonna be beating up the city council, it's not gonna do a recall, that recall is out too far, okay? It's gonna take too long, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it takes. Right now, you've got a month to pull this together. And I would work hard on the townships, because the townships are mad at the city. And I'm getting, it's like, yep, I'm the city. And so, yes, I'm dealing with it. And you got your hand up, ma'am. All right, to your question, and it's a great question. The city needs to come clean on all the information about this data center. And I've instructed my administrator to put out a posting to clear up any misnomers. So accurate information should be coming down the pipeline, I would say Tuesday or Wednesday. That'll help answer some of these questions. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, he's under instructions to put it out there. And it might feel slighted when you read it, okay? But again, that's going to be up to you and the townships and people of this Dunn County to get behind this and stop it. Otherwise, it's unless everybody comes together and gets after it, it's going to be hard to stop. Lucy, I don't think you can get a copy of the NDA. Well, I'm not sure. Steve, you can answer that. So the NDA in substance could be conveyed, but not the not the guts of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Typically, now NDAs can say anything, nothing, everything, right? There's nothing magic about them. They're also widely misunderstood. They're often used just as a scare tactic, right? And you talk to someone, you sign an NDA, and it may only prevent disclosure of one specific number. But yet the person will say, no, I signed an NDA, can't talk about it. It's like, yes, you can talk about it. You just can't disclose what's been narrowly carved out. So that's typical. Now, I haven't seen these, but I would like to see one to see what it is that's protected.
Just so you know, Steve is my friend. He graduated. I'm way smarter than him because I graduated ahead of him. But he's an international attorney, law attorney, and he spent the last 20 years in Hong Kong. But he's been home taking care of his aged mother who recently passed. But Steve is a super brain, and I brought him down here today to kind of listen and observe, and he's been studying this data center a little bit. They've got high paid, I mean, their pockets are so deep, they could buy up all of Menominee. This data center is worth $1.7 billion when all three phases are done. Our total value of all the taxation in Menominee is worth $1.4 billion. So that means the data center could come in and buy your house, buy your business, and buy all of Menominee up and just pay for it in cash. So the biggest thing is to rally hard, get good information, don't beat anybody up. The city council, if any one of us was given the amount of information that we thought was accurate, we might have voted the same way, okay? So just got to be patient because not all of us think the same. Go ahead.
I'm wondering if maybe one of the steps we could take is like getting together as a group, like with your ward, so that we can have smaller groups within the groups and we can, talk within our wards and be able to get the message out there to the other parts of our community to know that everyone's hearing.
Well, that could work.
Or townships.
Well, and that could work. However, I think the bang is in the buck. The volume talks in mass. So if you really want to stop this, having a little conversation with your city council member can be explained off. You have a conversation with me, I can try to answer every one of your questions. It doesn't stop it. So if you really want to stop it, you go ahead, Lucy. Well, I don't think that hurts to talk to your ward person. You know what? Our city council is ears, and they need to vote your message. And in this situation, I don't think that they maybe heard you, or they didn't have maybe they didn't give you the opportunity to be heard like maybe we all think it should happen that way. So in this situation, I think the biggest thing is there's 28 or 29 representatives from the county. And all those, like all 11 wards, there's 11 wards in the city, and they're all represented on the county. There's also county representatives. The biggest thing is you got to put your arm around these city council members. Don't beat them up, because beating them up, they'll put a fence up, and the negotiations go away. Same with your county board members. The townships right now, call your township boards. Because the town boards right now are all rallying to stop this. That's your biggest play right now is contact, and then put a big mass, get everybody's signature here today, and try to get addresses, but at least get a contact stuff, and pull together a giant meeting. Let's stop this thing. If you want to stop it, I'm behind you. Go ahead.
You said you see both sides of it. Can you try to spend a minute convincing this room to be pro data center from your perspective?
That's pretty hard. I would say you got to take your phone out and go like this. Other than that, I don't have a lot to offer from the data center side of it. I don't think it's good for Menominee. I don't think Menominee's prepped for a data center. The electric use, the water use, the people moving to come here, the outside contractors are going to come in to do the work. Our tourism, I don't think Menominee's really the right spot for a data center. However, here we are faced with a situation that I don't have any control over. Yes?
I have printed out the change.org petition on the top sheet, and then I've made tables to walk around your neighborhoods and get signatures. So I've got 17 copies of this, each been 3 pages. I can print out more. Whoever's willing to go to your neighborhoods and get signatures from your neighbors, I will work on this week getting more packets available for whoever is willing to do that.
Should we do that just in Menominee or in all the areas that are affected? Pretty much, all the areas.
All the areas.
Dutton County.
Yeah, I think, whoever's going to be
Can you
affected by it,
post, can you please post a document on our website?
Yes, that was my other idea, is I'll post the PDFs to this, and that way you can print it out yourself, and then, get signatures. Yes, I put residents, city, town, I think I'm gonna, so we'll use these, but I'll also get that changed on the PDF that I post to the page.
Lucy just brought up a point. She was wondering if we can get the city's, or the attorney for the balloonist to come and talk to her. He's kind of short-winded. He was kind of short-winded at the city council the other day. He says, either pass it or don't. What are you going to do? And it's like, well, that's kind of short.
Can I hear something about this? And if not, is there a way to hold the city responsible to notify all of the residents via mail? That way we don't have to forbear all of that finance and stand.
No, I'm sorry. The city is destined to just the city residents. But if you really want to stop this, you got to go countywide. That's how it's got to stop it.
You mentioned, you said, this thing has got, you said you got a month. You said, if we're going to get this thing going, you got a month. Not a lot of time for a lot of those small meetings.
What does that mean?
You got to get the signs up, you got to get people aware. What were your thoughts on when we said we got about a month to get this going?
Well, because...
What happened to the month?
Well, here's the deal. Now that the annexation has gone through and the zoning has gone through, this has opened up the door for Balloonist LLC to be able to pay the landowners their due. So I almost think the Balloonist LLC would wait for a negotiation to come back from the city saying, hey, we're going to help you with this, or we're going to help you with that, or maybe the development agreement says, hey, in order to do this, you got to give $1 million to the community foundation, and you got to give $1 million to this organization, you got to give $1 million to the schools, you got to do this, you got to do that. Well, I don't know how far off that is. I do know that I've instructed the administrator to sub this out to a big attorney firm, not to use our city attorneys. I think it's too big for them, and I don't want their partisan nature. Not that that's bad, but I don't want to take any chances. So when it comes to the development agreement, that's still in the works, and there hasn't been any contact between Balloonist LLC and the city since the city council passed this. And again, please don't beat your city council members up. They were just thinking that this was going to be a good thing because they were served it up on a platter. The Balloonists came to Menominee and they met with each of the city council members. I met with them for...
In private, off the record.
Well, it was, I don't know if that's anything, but what I thought it would be fun to do is I thought it would have been fun to put a I thought it would have been, I wanted to show up and put a pair of coveralls on and a snooze can and just tell the balloonist things that unless they tell us who these people really are, and if they hang out for a few days, otherwise I wasn't going to support them. And I spent an hour and a half, I did spend an hour and a half with the balloonist people at a table, and they laid all their stuff out and said, I gotta go. And I left. And they were taken back by the fact that I wasn't all in bed with them and wanted to do all this great stuff. But you know what? I don't feel good about this. And I don't want to beat up my city council members. They're human, we all make mistakes. However, now is the time to go county-wide if you want to stop this. If you want to stop it, you got to go county-wide. The city itself is probably not capable of stopping this on its own. I'm just telling you, that's point blank. Yes.
So you've encouraged us to talk to our townships, since that's where I would have to go. And you suggested having a larger meeting. What kind of time frame do we have? We've got it in a month. How, I don't know how to arrange something like that, but I would be willing to help work to make it happen, to get the city council people to come in. Who do you talk to get that rolling?
You get the county to put it on their agenda. And you swamp that room with 1,000 people.
What room?
How?
Whatever county, whenever the county board has their room, you talk to your townships.
Okay.
And every township has the ability to mass email, give us your thoughts on this, give us your signatures, put this on the township's backs, and then townships, put this on the county's back. County, put this on the city's back.
When does the county next meet?
Well,
What Randy is saying is to go to your town board first. Township board first. And then storm those meetings with voices and have the township gather information, then have them throw it on the county, and then let the county.
I got two hands up. There's a problem with that. All the problem is they have to agenda it in order to talk about it. So you got to talk to your town chair to put it on the agenda for the town meeting, and you got to hit it hard there.
What are we asking to put on the agenda? Just discussion about the proposed data center?
Discussion and action.
Okay.
If you don't put the action part on it, then it's just up for discussion, and so it was. But if you put it on discussion and action, now they might say, oh, Town of Menominee, let's send out an information piece, and here it is. If you don't like it, sign here. Get a hold of your town chair. Yes.
Real quick, not a question for Randy. Thank you for answering all our questions. On the signs, they'll be here tomorrow. I've only got a limited order of 60 that are coming. I just wanted to make sure before doing a mass order that they were going to turn out okay, it wouldn't be blurry, stuff like that. If people that are going to pick some up, try and pick up only one, two, a couple at a time that you're going to use. If you're going to get a bunch of them, try and hold off for the second order. As long as they're okay tomorrow, I'll then order a couple hundred more. That we have plenty of them to go around, neighbors, all that kind of stuff, pass them out to whoever. There will be a donation thing available for anybody that is able to donate. They're about $4 a piece, give or take. If you aren't able to donate, that's all right, don't sweat it. But if you are, that's definitely appreciated. Anything that goes into that will go back into more signs.
I'll pledge $800 for signs.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Peter from Jake's and Scoops and Silver Dollar and Tom and Joe's just pledged $800 for signs. I think that, that's what it's going to take. Get behind this thing. Yes. Right, she's asking who's spearheading this and how do we funnel this together so it's a conducive matter. What? Brooke, you are now in charge of this whole thing. Brooke, what's your last name, Brooke? give these folks some information on how to get a hold of you. And you know what? And anybody, my phone number is 715-308-8403. And texting is better than calling a lot of times because I've been in a lot of meetings. But I'm not shy. You can call me. It's 715-308-8403. And if you want to stop this, you got to make some hard moves. Here you go, bro. Thanks, guys.
Hey again. Yeah, I'm willing to, like I said at the beginning, I'm willing to do anything. I am the one posting the change.org. Is everyone in the Facebook group? If you're not, get joined. So I have flyers. I was hoping to put those in businesses, give them to your neighbors. The QR code to the change.org petition is on there. And then the QR code to the Facebook group is on there as well. Once we have all the signatures, I am hoping to have a group of us kind of go through and try to scan to make sure that we don't have double signatures as well. I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll figure it out when we get there. And then as far as an event goes, I think we should do that. I would like help, please. And if I can get some help, then I think we can get something going, really quick. Zymurgy opened their doors to us, and I was like, if someone doesn't just choose a time, we gotta choose a time, and so I did, and here we are. Here we are. So how cool is that? Thank you all for being here. I'm awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
So one thing that's really important with that short timetable is making sure people are at city council meetings. All right, and Randy, is there any way? Did he leave?
No, I'm here.
Is there any way that the next couple city council meetings can be held somewhere that can accommodate people, rather than that tiny little room?
Okay, that's a great question. What has to happen is it has to be agendaed in order to be talked about. And at this point, I don't think there's any movement on the Balutas or on the city or anything like that. So it wouldn't be an agenda item. So make your movement and then bring it back to the city.
But people can't just come and talk? No, it has to be on the agenda. Okay. The other thing, though, is this. One thing I noticed, I wasn't able to be at the last one with the annexation, but one thing I noticed is a lot of the people were spending their time talking about opposing the data center when all that was up for vote was the annexation. Does that make sense? It's really important, and it's better for the whole thing if you go to the city council meeting and when there's something on the agenda, and you're certain about what the specific thing is on the agenda, and you talk specifically to that point, right? About that part of it. Trying to short circuit the whole thing that way, and then make sure that you're succinct. Figure out what you want to say, find a good way to say it, make sure it's specific to the thing that's being voted on, speak that, and then that gives more time for more people to speak. Okay?
Thank you everyone for signing our form to get your name and email. If we haven't got you and you want to stay in the loop of next steps, please make sure you flag me down or Lori down with a clipboard. She's right there, and we can keep you informed of what's going to happen next. Thank you.